Once upon a time, in a quiet little village nestled between soft hills and golden fields, lived a humble farmer. He wasn't wealthy, but he had enough to live, and he was never alone. By his side was his loyal donkey. This donkey had once been the pride of the farm. He worked tirelessly, carried heavy loads, plowed the fields, and never once complained. But as the years passed, age began to slow him down. His steps grew heavier, his back weaker, and his usefulness on the farm gradually faded. The farmer, though grateful for all the years they had shared, saw that the donkey could no longer serve as before. Out of respect and sentiment, he allowed the old creature to live out his days, grazing peacefully in the pastures. The donkey roamed freely, enjoying the sun and the grass, unaware that life was about to test him one last time. One warm afternoon, as the donkey wandered near the edge of an old, forgotten well, the earth beneath him crumbled. In an instant, he slipped and tumbled down into darkness. The fall was long, and when he landed, he cried out in pain and fear. The well was deep and narrow. There was no way he could climb out on his own. He brayed as loud as he could, hoping someone, anyone, would hear. And someone did. A neighbor walking nearby heard the echoing cries and ran to the well. Looking down, he gasped at the sight of the helpless donkey far below. Without hesitation, he rushed to find the farmer. Moments later, the farmer returned, accompanied by several neighbors, all concerned and ready to help. They tried everything: ropes, buckets, shouting instructions, but nothing worked. The well was too deep, and the donkey was too weak to help himself. Time passed. The sun began to set. The mood shifted from hopeful to somber. Finally, the farmer made a heartbreaking decision. With sadness in his eyes, he said, "He's old. He's had a good life. Maybe it's better to let him go peacefully." And so he asked the others to help him fill the well. They all hesitated, but eventually picked up their shovels. One by one, they began throwing dirt into the well. Below, the donkey panicked. Dirt began landing on his back. He realized what was happening. They were giving up on him, burying him alive. He cried louder, more desperately, but no one stopped. And then, in that moment of despair, something shifted inside him. He paused. Then he shook the dirt off his back. It fell to the ground beneath him. He stepped up. Another shovelful fell. Again, he shook it off. Again, he stepped up. The pattern repeated. Dirt, shake, step. Dirt, shake, step. With every bit of earth meant to bury him, he chose instead to rise. The men above had no idea. They kept working, believing they were easing the old donkey into rest. But suddenly, the cry stopped. Curious, the farmer leaned over the edge. What he saw left him speechless. There, just a few feet from the surface, stood the donkey, stepping higher with every layer of dirt. His body trembled, but his spirit burned strong. One last push, one last shake, and with a powerful leap, he jumped out of the well. The crowd stepped back in stunned silence. The donkey, covered in dust, but very much alive, looked around. He didn't bray. He didn't run. He just stood tall, proud, free, and unbroken. He turned away from the farmer, from the crowd, from the well that was supposed to be his grave. And slowly, he walked away toward the open field, toward the horizon, where no one could define his worth again. From that day forward, the villagers no longer called him old or useless. They called him the one who wouldn't be buried. His story spread far and wide, becoming a symbol of strength, resilience, and self-worth. And the lesson? It speaks to all of us. Life will throw dirt on you. People will doubt you, abandon you, and sometimes even try to bury you when you're at your weakest. But you have a choice. You can let it break you, or you can shake it off, step up, and use it as the very thing that lifts you higher. Your worth is not defined by others. It's not measured by what you can or can't do in their eyes. Your worth is defined by your spirit, by the fire that refuses to be extinguished. Just like the donkey, you might feel trapped, alone, forgotten. But deep inside, you still have the power to rise. Don't wait for rescue. Be your own rescue. Shake it off, step up, rise again. Because sometimes what was meant to bury you is exactly what raises you.